Good afternoon, everybody. There we go. Right. Thank you all for coming out this afternoon. During the course of this campaign, we have tried to build capacity for our party around the province by reaching out to green expertise and helping implement change now. I would like to start off by sharing with you some stories from our leadership campaign trail. Many of these stories come from interactions with you, the members, and relate to the green policy that we have promoted in our 17 policy press releases. First off, one of our talented team members who you heard from earlier, Brian Macon, set up an interview with Dr. Mark Jackard. Dr. Jackard is Canada's preeminent academic expert in the field of carbon taxes and resource management. It was fascinating to hear how a simple carbon tax on cars and energy could drastically reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and help reduce climate change now. We heard about there's a wealthy oil-producing nation that you all know called Norway that has a similar population to BC of 4 million, and they have had a carbon tax for 15 years. So why cannot we implement one now? Our Dr. Jackard carbon tax YouTube video, which I was fortunate enough to moderate, had over 100 views within 3 days, and we complemented it shortly afterwards with a carbon tax press release. And I think you're going to like this story. It was fascinating to see the media in Kamloops put Steve Harper, that's right, you call him Steve because he doesn't like that. They put his old employer on the spot, Canadian Taxpayer Federation, and they said Green Party candidate Damian Kettlewell was in town 2 weeks ago and he just issued a press release on carbon tax. So their communication director responded with absolute ignorance on the subject matter and just wrote it right off when definitely it is the best market mechanism we have to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. The result of this is that your Green Party representative is educating influential groups about progressive new policy matters. Another example of a Green Party representative influencing public opinion is that we were up in Kelowna for a well-organized debate by Reid and the Kelowna Greens. And part of our campaign strategy was to issue press releases at every one of our 8 campaign stops, and in between as well. So in Kelowna, based on conversations with a new member, one of the 100 members we signed up to, this one was at the Richmond Night Market, we decided to launch and promote the innovative policy called Pay-As-You-Drive car insurance. So Pay-As-You-Drive car insurance is an innovative policy that one of your own here in Victoria, Todd Littman, has been promoting through his organization, the Victoria Transportation Policy Institute. Pay-As-You-Drive car insurance is a simple concept that provides monetary incentive to those people who drive less and pollute less. So here we are after our Kelowna debate, and we're leaving out of town with the JM, our financial agent, and with Sylvain, one of our leadership colleagues, and my phone is ringing off the hook. The media is calling from Vancouver, they're calling from Kelowna. Fascinatingly, on the radio we hear the Kelowna radio host calls our Green Party policy innovative. I was like, well, that was very, very generous for the media to step out on this policy matter. As we're pulling back into Vancouver, it brought joy to my heart to see that CKWX had made it their top news story of the day. So every 15 minutes you had Green Party of BC and leadership candidate Damian Kettlewell is promoting this Pay-As-You-Drive car insurance. So ICBC was getting a lot of heat, so they had to respond right away, and they did respond. And oh, we have it already, and oh no, the UK, they don't know what they're doing. You can buy it in the UK right now, and it definitely helps reduce our pollution. So it turned into the top news story of the day, and what really was a cherry on top for us is they put it on their online poll, and our policy, the policy of our members that we all do support, won overwhelmingly 2-1 on our online poll. So why am I telling you these stories? Because we have influenced public opinion with our carbon tax and our Pay-As-You-Drive car releases. And we, and I, will do more as your leader, hopefully as the next Green Party of BC leader. The lessons that can be learned from this are that part of a job of a leader is to reach out to people of around this province who have been making BC green and putting their initiatives in the public debate and applying pressure so they can become a reality. So I asked myself, I'm a reflective individual, I did my leadership MBA at this school right here a couple of years ago, and reflection is a key part of leadership. So, and you might be asking yourself, well, why is it this one campaign generated 4 or 5-fold more media attention than any other one of the leadership debates or any other leadership candidates, with all due respect? Those are the facts. Well, in Prince George, let me share with you how we did it. In Prince George, we all arrived. It was great. It was our first candidate. It was our first all-leadership debate. And one of our local organizers, Laura Beckett, picked me up, and we proceeded to visit all the media outlets around town with Laura and her 2 children in tow. It was fantastic. Now, let me share with you that Laura is symbolic of the quality of the Green organizers around this province. She's passionate, she's thankless, she's calculated, and she did a phenomenal job organizing this first of 5 debates, which was in Prince George. Truth be told, it is the Laura Becketts of our party that will determine the success of the Green Party of BC. So Laura and I were dropping in on these media outlets and ended up on the 5 o'clock news 4 hours later talking about the Green Party of BC, talking about the 5 leadership contestants, and talking about the debate that night. As well, I spent 45 minutes talking with award-winning print journalist Gordon Hoekstra from the Prince George Citizen, and helped contribute to a favorable news story the next day in the town's #1 paper. So really, why does this story matter to you? Well, we got press publicizing your policies and this leadership debate because we sought out the interview, because we were impressed, and because they were impressed with how we packaged our message. Both, this absolute words right from their mouth, both the 5 o'clock news anchor and Gordon, the award-winning journalist, commented that, Damian, we never give feature representation to Green Party candidates when they're in town on one day's notice, because A, the professional presentation and the professional policy presentation hasn't been there. You go to their website, it isn't there. Adrian comes to town, we give Adrian lots of attention, but anybody else, they have never done it before. So that was good to hear. Now, if we didn't take the initiative, we wouldn't have got the interview and the message would not have gone out. And it is all about the message and policy. So thanks to our tenacity and professionalism of our campaign and of our campaign team, we were able to make a real impression with the voters of Prince George. Now, I'm a firm believer that work experience really defines success going forward, and this is a big job and it requires a team effort. I have been able to accomplish so much in this short campaign because we've attracted a dynamic team that has been able to bring skills and professionalism to our campaign. One of my greatest strengths is working towards a common goal, and I have worked for many years leading a sales team of 13, and now I run my own small business that employs 25. I have had to communicate in every way imaginable as a salesperson, and it's amazing the opportunities that I've been able to generate for your party by using the same skill. And I can tell you that we need to get the message out, and we need to do things like call our members. I personally made over 600 phone calls to our members. And now briefly, we ran in 2005. Our potential external liaison told you that we were in 2005 in Vancouver Point Grey. We had some funds. We did a spoof video. We got extensive media coverage. Outside of Adrian, we had the most media coverage of any candidate in the province. And really, we took a strong stance on things like STV. Our party did not take a strong stance on STV, and basically we've seen now in print and PEI and in Ontario that STV is going to be the way to go, and the mixed member proportional representation, unfortunately, is not going to work right now. We had 58% of British Columbians support STV. STV is a better option on the table, and the STV will be key to the long-term success of our party. Now, considering all the unique media stories, 26 media stories we've had in this campaign, and the serious work experience, you can imagine that we've attracted some serious support. 2 elected councillors, one from Coquitlam, one from Whistler, one of Ken's colleagues, esteemed Green Elder and former Greenpeace co-founder Rex Weiler, and everyone's favorite Green great-grandmother, Betty Croswick. So what will we do if you lend us your vote today? Well, number 1, we will pressure for a revenue-neutral carbon tax like there has never been any pressure applied before in this province. It is the best way to lower our greenhouse gas emissions now. We will pressure for solutions that we face now with our homelessness crisis, and we should not have this crisis in our economically rich province. And number 3, we will campaign for electoral reform now. We can elect MLAs under the current electoral system, but STV is more democratic, and that's why we support it. As well, we do support electoral reform and the removal of business and union donations from any sort of political campaign provincially. And yes, in our last press release, we helped get us Greens on the cover of the Vancouver Sun as we put out a press release the day before on electoral finance reform. I wanted to thank some key members of our campaign. First and foremost, my lovely wife and supportive wife, Charlene. I wanted to thank Devin, our campaign manager, JM, our financial agent, Charlie, chief strategist, and my family for being here, my brother and sister, and Brian and Dan. I look forward to working with you on council, hopefully. And members of the Green Party, my vision for this party is change now. We walked the talk, we drove here in our greenhouse gas neutral, waste vegetable oil vehicle, and we have attracted unprecedented exposure to our party. A vote for Damian Kettlewell, and you'll be voting for an individual and a team that will elect Green MLAs in 2009 and help ensure that Green MLAs are a fixture for generations to come. Thank you very much.